We're going to go through your decompression breath as well as intra-abdominal breathing and bracing. Both of them are going to get a drill. Let's start focusing on the rib cage, classic decompression breathing. We'll be using a breath belt throughout. Great training tool. You don't have to have it though. Where do we start? With our hands. We can come up onto the rib cage and focus on breathing your hands wide. So I go chest up, I lengthen the back neck. I'm going to focus on breathing my hands apart, in through the nose. Active exhale, that abdominals lengthening, engaging, working to maintain the space. Big inhalation. Active lengthening, drawing in on the exhale. And then relax it down. Hands around the waist. We're going to push in ever so slightly, grip the abdominal. My thumbs are hooking my back. My chest comes up. I lengthen the neck. I'm going to, again, breathe my hands wide. Now, I'm not going to let the air out. I'm going to give a subtle exhale and then lock down and engage. I'm contracting the abdominal. Then I exhale. We'll go again. I push in, I grip, I breathe out into my hands. Nice and tight through the abdominal, and then exhale. Breath in again. Now let's lock it down. And see, can I keep it tight, engaged in my hands, exhale, and breathe in, keeping it engaged. And exhale, keeping it engaged. And then relax. Shake it off. We're going to go another round. You can use your hands, or if you have a band, you can use a band. If you've watched my other workouts, I'll use the t-shirt. I'm going to go ahead and use the breath belt. This gives awesome feedback. It's an elastic band around my rib cage that I'm then getting the pressure to have to work against. So keeping it simple, I'll come around right here, give a little exhale. Love it for a training tool. So I'm around the rib cage. I'm going to breathe up and into the sides and the back of the belt. Right away, I feel it pushing wide, and then I'm going to actually work to keep it expanded. Draw the stomach in. Not letting it come down. Lengthening the abdominal, feeling the resistance you're working against. One more. Let it all down. Nice thing with this here is I'm going to think about first breathing into the abdominal, almost breathing under the belt. So hands around the waist, I squeeze in, up into the ribs. I can lock it down. And then relax. One more time. I'm thinking of out, down into the groin, out into the waist. Lastly, I'll finish up into the ribs. I want to feel this engagement through my lower torso. Here we go. Hands grip in. Up into the belt, and then we'll lock it down. A little bit of air goes out. I cut it off, and I contract that abdominal. I'm nice and tight, and then we'll relax. We'll move our band, our shirt, or our belt down into the traditional position for it now. This is where the real juice of using a belt like this comes in. It gives us something to breathe out and against. But what I like again with the belt is that it's giving me active tension in the abdominal to work with. That feedback. So I'm going to exhale. Wrap it on. Now the beauty of doing this with the decompression breath is trying to get away from the belt. With the belt on, we can go measuring sticks or arms into long wing. I'm going to think of breathe the rib cage up and off the belt. And then we're going to lengthen the abdominal, try to pull in away from the belt. Up and off the belt. In and away from the belt. Up and off. And in and away. and then let it come down. Right away, we're gonna go into the abdominal. So I've got this constriction. It's really nice for being able to find it into the low back, the sides, and the abdominal. So I'm gonna inflate right out and into the belt. I like to give that up into the ribs, and then we'll lock it down. Nice and tight, and then relax. That is the brace. That's the active contraction. We'll use that decompression breath to get length, to lengthen, make space, set the stage for a healthy contraction of all the abdominal muscles when we contract out and engage. So here we go. Breath down and into the abdominal. Nice uniform space here. I can breathe up and in, lock it down, and now I'm keeping this stability. I'm not allowing for any dumping one way or the other, and we can relax. So finding this uniform contraction. Now comes the fun part. We're going to apply all this to an 8-point plank, and then we're going to apply all this to a great exercise that also serves the back. It's from Dr. Stuart McGill, called the bird dog, and that's where we use that intra-abdominal breathing and bracing if we want to practice that. It's my two favorite ones for combining and getting repetition. So coming down, I'm going to leave the belt on. You don't have to use them, but I love that sensation of rib cage expanding off the belt, abdominal drawing in. It gives a nice challenge. And then we can go right into our bird dogs. And we'll do one of each, and we'll go through it 2 times. Let's set up for our 8-point plank. We're going to go down on the abdominal. My legs are wide, heels are turning out, knees are on the ground. Those elbows are the extensions of my shoulder, meaning that they're right in line and coming out. I'm going to look down between my elbows. I'm going to lengthen the back neck. I'm thinking about pushing my elbows into the earth, reaching those back ribs for the sky, and then we start our breathing. Back of the rib cage expanding. Abdominal drawing in. Get it away from that belt. In and up. Draw it in. In and expand. Draw it in. One more big inhale, back of the ribs. And then let it all come down. So we're targeting that thoracic expansion, wrapping and engaging the abdominal, lengthening out, stability for the low spine, nice active mobility for the upper back, integrating the limbs, everything towards center. So we're playing that tug of war. Now let's go into the traditional bird dog. Making sure when we go into that position, we're grabbing the ground, lengthening through the back neck. So we still want to think about core principles. Back of the neck is long. I'm gripping the earth. I'm going to put that breath into the abdominal. Breathe out and into the belt. I'm going to slide the back heel of my right leg, and my left hand will reach. And then I'll pull them back in. I'm really focusing on my first couple. My toes just barely slide, barely are touching the ground, but I don't want to come way up here. We want to let that breath in the abdominal set the stage for stability, then moving the shoulders and hips. So here we go. Back and neck is long, breath in, left foot, right hand, and bring them back. Breath into the abdominal. Right foot, left hand. Breath in, left heel, right hand. Right foot, left hand. Here we go. Breath in and back. Breath in, switch and back. Breath in and back. Breath in. Now we're making sure hips stay square. We can think about turning that left leg in so we have that internal rotation a little bit and bring it back. We can go into holds with these where there'll be about 10 seconds and we start tensioning. We'll do that on round 2. Let's get another 8-point plank in. Lengthening out, elbows in front of the shoulders, legs are hip width apart, heels are wide, toes are under the heels. I've got a little bit of that wrap in at the hip joints. I look down, I'm going to pull my nose and throat away from the earth. Find that length in the back neck. Breathe and expand right between the shoulders. You push the elbows into the earth and reach the middle of that spine right between your shoulders for the sky. And then start breathing it big. Pulling the stomach in and away from the belt. Drawing it in off the ground, off your band, whatever you're using. Breathe big again. Big breath again. And then let the hips come back down. Coming up to the quadruped position. This time, when we grip the ground, we want to make sure we're under the chest. And let's go for a little bit of a turnout. So left hand, right hand is going to be, your right hand will be facing almost like a 1 o'clock. And your left hand is going to be an 11 o'clock. So when we grab the ground, that little bit of turnout, grip it, and think about from the shoulder, you're twisting, turning the hands away from each other to screw into the earth. We're looking to feel that under the arms, that lat activation. In position, we'll start with the right leg and the left palm reaching away from each other, but I want you to do your best to grip the earth, turn the hands away, engage those lats, back the neck is long, we breathe in, and then we reach heel and hand away. And then think about a little bit of that abdominal contraction. Ha! Twisting, driving the heel and fist, bring them back. Let's do it on the other side. Grab and twist, big inhalation, lock it down. Ha! Twisting, driving the heel, actively engaging the abdominal, and pull them back. Starts to become challenging. Make sure we're not overextending from the low back to bring the foot up. If you feel in the low back, just let the toes barely hover. Keep them towards the ground. Here we go. Lock it in. Screw the hands into the earth. Right heel, left hand, drive them away. Twist that hand, tighten the fist, drive the heel. Make sure the breath is locked down. Pull them back. Left heel, right hand, breath in. Right fist, left heel. And pull them back. Playing with those, feeling that connection. Using bands, using a shirt. Playing. Remember, at the end of the day, we can do our drills by just thinking about pulling the stomach away from the ground. That is one cue for feedback. Putting a belt on, putting a band on, tying a shirt around the waist, thinking about drawing it away from it. It's another tool for feedback. Play with them. Do your best to turn up the connections. Feel the difference in your 8-point plank versus breathing into the abdominal. Find your ability to contract, engage, recruit, but in positions where you're stabilizing and then moving. Bring it into the rest of your workouts. Practice these, get really good at them, and have an amazing day.